Hey everyone, I just wanted to come on here and basically do a little quick process of our experience in Juarez while we were out there. We went out in August of this year, of actually last year now because we are in 2020. We went out August, I would say 21st. Our appointment was August 24th. We went a couple of days ahead because we heard that you had to do obviously the medical exams. We needed to get the carta de no antecedentes penales. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And then a few other things that we needed to do out there. And then we want to make sure that we had everything while we were out there. When we left from LA. We left to El Paso. From El Paso, we actually drove into, or actually we actually walked into Juarez. At a first glance, Juarez, from the actual border from El Paso to Juarez, it seems a little dangerous, especially when you're from the States and you think you're going dressed like as humble as possible, and you actually stand out even more. Like you think you're going in plain clothes, as simple and humble as possible, but you actually stand out because regardless of how humble you try to dress, you're gonna stand out because the people in Juarez, unfortunately, for the most part, are very poor, and you stand out like a sore thumb. So obviously, walking into Juarez, we automatically lost all cell phone reception, which is kind of scary because I was trying to get an Uber or get a map to where we were going, because our hotel wasn't right away into the entrance. It was still like about a 30-25 minute drive. So we kind of got a little paranoid, got a little bit anxious because we saw a lot of people staring at us. Obviously, a lot of taxi people are like throwing themselves at you to basically take them to your destination. Unfortunately, Uber didn't work for the first, I say 30 minutes that we were there in walking. We actually did find a taxi, which we were kind of nervous about getting into because we heard so many stories. We didn't want to risk it, so we ended up taking him by chance, and he ended up being really cool. He took us to our hotel. He actually knew our hotel. He actually knew the people in our hotel, which made us feel very comfortable at the end because he knew everyone by name and so on and so forth. We actually stayed in Hotel Consulado Inn. It's kind of one of the last ones I would say on the strip of the Consulado. It's actually I was looking for a 5-star hotel, you would say, because I was being very picky. But at the end of the day, you're going there just to do this process, and you're trying to get out. You're not trying to go on vacation. So this is actually a hotel that I found because our appointment came a month before. I found this. I was like, you know what, this is a good price. I need to get it. So we booked it because I've heard a lot of horror stories where everything gets booked really fast. And I said, you know what, I don't want to take any chances. And I did that. So when we got into the hotel, the girl actually was very nice. She explained to us, that we had free breakfast every morning, and we would have to come down and ask for tickets and so forth. They were actually in the hotel. There's a little store that sells chips, sodas, all it's like just a little store that has shavers, shampoos, milk, which actually came very convenient because there were some nights where we wanted a little snack. We would run downstairs and get it anyways. So I actually do recommend it. It's not a 5-star hotel. It is a very nice, humble hotel. I spent probably about $30 a night. The breakfast was actually not that bad. It had its days. But I mean, it was free breakfast. We couldn't complain. And so it helped us a lot on our trip. So on the second day, we actually went to do the medical exams. We did the medical exams, and that same day, actually, we did the fingerprinting. And we got all that over with. Thank God we got that over with. Then on the third day, we actually went to go get the carta de no antecedentes penales. It's basically the one that clears you from having any criminal history in Mexico. And it's very confusing, and it actually bothered me that they didn't give enough instructions in there. They let you stand in line, and when you get to the person, they let you know, oh, you're not supposed to be here first. You're supposed to go to the other office on the other side and get that paperwork filled out or whatever it was. So that bothered me because they let you sit in line and waste your time. it wasn't a long time, but still, it let you waste your time. I would, suggest that you go more informed. You have to go to one office before you go to the main office to get the actual letter, or whatever. It's all a money business there, they just want money from you. So whatever. After that, I think we had one free day where we actually visited family in Juarez, and then on the fourth day, which was on a Monday, we went to my husband's interview. His interview was about 7 in the morning, on that Monday morning, and actually, obviously, we were obviously nervous. My stomach was hurting and churning and tossing, and the whole night before I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh my god, like this is it. This is basically the day we've been waiting for years, because mind you, we have been doing this process for 5 years. So we went to his interview, and I felt it was like the longest wait of my life. I had never waited so long. I had never felt like time went so slow than this day. He was in there from about 7 in the morning and got out maybe or almost about 11 in the morning, I would say. And I felt like I was dying. I couldn't eat. We had me and his I was there with his sister and his brother-in-law. We tried to have breakfast while we waited for him to get out of the interview, and I couldn't. So I wanted to just wait out there. And when you're there and you're waiting by the stairs that go around in the bridge, you're just waiting and waiting and waiting to see if your spouse or loved one is coming through with that green paper, and you see so many people coming out like crying and sad and obviously with denial letters, and these people coming out with blue papers. We're like, what the hell does this mean? And then you just don't see your loved one. So finally, after hours of waiting, I see my husband, and my husband's like the chillest person. He doesn't make no reactions, no emotions. He comes out and he's just like, okay, got it, like with his green paper. And then I'm just like, oh my god, like what the hell? Me and his sister are screaming. I'm over here crying, because obviously this is like a big thing for us. It's a life-changing thing for us. So I was so happy that he got it. So then we went off to eat, because actually my husband had ate all morning, and I was like so relieved, whatever. So then that happened. So then on the next day, we were just gonna stay one more day, I believe, but we decided to cut our trip short in Juarez and go on to our next location, which we were gonna visit Guadalajara, because we wanted to, to know a little bit more Mexico while we were out there before we actually went to his hometown, where we were gonna wait for his packet to arrive, his sealed visa and all that. So we actually left to Guadalajara the next morning. When we arrived to the Guadalajara, and this is what I'm telling you guys, every case is different. There's no one case that is exactly the same. And I feel like, be cautious. Obviously, listen to people's stories, but do not take them for granted, because every story is different. Every case is different. I had watched videos and read a lot of stories on these pages, obviously on Facebook, and other U.S. visa communities that help out a lot. And I listened to a story where this girl was contacted by, I guess, a fraudulent a call stating that they needed to go back to the U.S. Embassy and they need to give in their papers. I don't remember the story too well, but I was like, oh my god, like, I this is the story that I'm going to stick to. I am not going to answer any calls, whatever. So the next day when we arrived to Guadalajara, we had got like 4 or 5 missed calls. We had gotten 3 missed calls from the U.S. Consulado, and we got a call from our hotel stating that they had been trying to reach us from the Consulado to get in touch with us. So because I so wanted to believe this person's case of the story of how they got scammed or they were going to get scammed, I said, no, it's a scam. Let's not call them back. Let's not worry about it. If it was really them, they never call, whatever. So we went out with our trip. We were in Guadalajara for a day or so. We went on to our next destination, which was Zacatecas. So we left from Guadalajara to Zacatecas on a bus, which was about maybe a 6-hour bus ride. And on the way to Zacatecas, I got an email from the U.S. Visa Center stating that our appointment was canceled, which I was like, we already had our appointment, how is this possible? So obviously I emailed our lawyer and Our lawyer did not know what was going on because this was weird because she had seen on all the pages that we were approved, that it was basically green lighted, that that we were good to go. So we said, okay, let's just not worry about it, So then we got to Zacatecas, and on the second day that we were in Zacatecas, we got an email saying that our visa packet was ready or whatever. So we went to go pick it up, and when we opened the envelope at the DHL in Fresnillo, Zacatecas, there was a blue paper and my husband's passport. And the blue paper stated that my husband needed an additional interview, that he was temporarily denied. So when that happened, my whole world came falling apart because I was ready to go home. I had been there maybe about a week and I was already ready to go home. And this blue paper just changed our life for what seemed forever, So we called our lawyer, we emailed the paper, they didn't know what was going on. They had never seen a paper like that because usually blue papers instruct you of things to do next. You've missed this, the medical exam didn't come out through, you're missing financials, whatever it is. The paper didn't say that. Paper just stated you needed an additional interview. So we called, we were like, okay, what do we do? How do we get an additional interview? Where do we go? Call this, they just said, call this number, check it on a daily basis, and we call the number, and nothing, and nothing, and nothing. Every day, every 5 minutes, I would call and check, and nothing, and nothing. And it just felt like my world was coming down. It came the day where I had to come home because I had to come back to work. And this was already September, I would say like the first week of September, I had to come already back home. I think September like 8th or something. And I didn't want to come home because I didn't want to leave my husband behind in his hometown of Zacatecas. But I had to because I had to come to work and we had our dog that we had to take care of. So I came home obviously devastated and hurt and angry and disappointed because the laws are so fucked up here, But because I listened so much to the story of this girl getting scammed and I focused so much that the U.S. consulate will never call you and the U.S. embassy will never call you. And it's actually not true. The U.S. embassy will reach out to you. They will call you. And I learned this the hard way, obviously. We learned this the hard way because after getting into contact with the U.S. embassy and the U.S. consulate, they did state that they tried to get a hold of us numerous times for 2 whole days. And obviously I ignored the calls. So obviously I blame myself for this. But, we tried to, do what was best and believe people's stories. So that's why I say no case is the same. No 2 cases are the same. Every case is different. Everyone's experience is a little bit different. No one's questions are the same. Each interview question is based on your personal case. So that's why I say do not listen to these stories. So because we ignored the calls, because I ignored the calls, we had to wait about 2 months, almost 3 months, for us to get a separate interview. I called every single day. I checked online every single day, every second, every minute. I called every day, every 5 minutes. The 3 people that I would get the names on a daily basis, they would basically, I don't know if they retired me, but they knew me already. They knew who I was, they knew my case. They're like, I know, we hear you. You call every day, you call every 5 minutes. You just have to keep calling until something opens. Finally, I went back to Zacatecas twice in between this to see, what I could do, obviously to be there with my husband. And I went on, I would say, what day? I don't really remember. We went towards the end of October, maybe the middle of October. I went again. The end of September, I went again to Zacatecas with my husband, just to spend some time because, obviously being apart, it was really torturing for me. So we went to do some touristy things, and I said, you know what, today's the day. God has sent me a sign. I'm gonna check the U.S. visa website, So I checked it when we went out of Mina, mine, and there was interviews available. So I said, you know what, I don't care. I'm pricking placing my finger on the first interview that's open, which was still about more than a month after that day, which I was like, I don't care, we have to get it, So I clicked it, whatever. I contacted my lawyer, and that's a whole different story about our lawyer. Our lawyer, to me, was a waste of money, but I can do a whole video on them on another separate occasion. I just feel like they gave up on us. They forgot about us. They already had been paid in full. and they didn't really care about us. And to this day, we are on January 3rd, 2020. My husband got approved November 4th, 2019. They have not contacted us once. They don't. I don't. I'm pretty sure they know. They could check if we're back or if he hasn't got his visa. But they have not called us once, emailed us once, texted us once to be like, "Hey, I heard you guys are back. Hey, are you guys okay? Hey, how did everything go?" Nothing. So they're gonna get a really bad review anyway. But anyway, so we got approved. We got approved. Sorry. We went to the additional interview in November. Where I went back to Juarez again, and we stayed in the same hotel. And the same experience was fine, humble. It was, very safe to me because we walked out all hours of the night and it was fine. Went to the movies, went to the mall, went to Buffalo Wild Wings. We had a good time in Juarez. I love Juarez. My respects to the people that work there, that live there. But anyway, second interview came around again. It was torturing. This time it was just me and my husband, and I waited from 7 a.m. to I want to say almost 1 p.m. He was in there, and it was the longest wait of my life. I did not eat. I could not sleep. I had to be walking up and down. I was just like, oh my God, when is he gonna come out? Finally, we're 1 p.m. hits, and he's out. Again, no emotions, no reactions, and he's just like, let's go back to the hotel. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, I got approved again. I'm like, I felt so much weight lifted off of me, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? No. The moment I cross back into the U.S. with you, that's when my heart will be okay, because I don't want this game where you get approved, then you get a blue paper, then it was chaotic, The immigration officer explained to him that he had lied on his first interview, which was completely false. My husband did not lie. There was just wrong dates written down between the first interviewer and my husband, and that just got obviously fixed. My husband did say at the second interview that he felt like he was trying to be intimidated by the immigration officers to basically admit to something that he did not say. My husband obviously stayed consistent and said, no, I did not say that, I did not say that, I did not say that. You guys need to remember at the end of the day that these people are there to intimidate you, to scare you, so you could say something that they can catch you and not give you your visa. So don't always remember, they are there not for you. They do not want you to get your papers. For the most part, I'm just saying this is my personal opinion. They want everything against you. They want to bring out all the bad stuff. So you need to be consistent on your answers and not be intimidated by these people. These people are there to do their job. You are there to do yours. To get your visa, go back home to your family. So my husband did just that. He stayed true to himself. He did not lie once. He did not admit to something that he did not do. And he got approved. 5-6 hours later, obviously. But he got approved. So we went back from Juarez, we went back to Zacatecas, where they were going to send him his packet because he could not change the location because that was his original location. So that was on a Monday, his interview. We left on a Wednesday. We left on a Tuesday, and his packet got there on a Thursday. And once we got the packet, we booked our flight home. We said, you know what? We are going home. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going home. So we booked our flight back from Zacatecas to Tijuana, CBX tunnel. So we did that. We got our tickets. We went home. We went to Tijuana, and in the CBX tunnel, which is like a $15 fee that you pay to cross the bridge fast. It was very, very dead. It was like 8 in the morning. We went into the immigration officers. Obviously, you get in line, and one of them calls my husband, one of them calls me. And the man asked me, like, oh, why are you here? Or why were you in Mexico? And I said, oh, because, and I turned around and I said, oh, because my husband, right there, just came back from his immigration interview. He goes, oh, he has a packet. And I said, yeah. And my immigration officer that was talking to me said, this is what's going to happen. He's going to go in a room for about 10 to 15 minutes. There's a Starbucks outside of the tunnel. Wait there, he'll be out fast. Sure enough, we walk through. My husband goes one way, I go the other way. I'm waiting at the Starbucks. Not even 10 minutes later, my husband comes out. He goes, okay, let's go. And I'm just like, that's it? What did they tell you? What did they do? Because I've heard stories where they intimidate you, they ask you a million questions, and again, it's like all over again. He goes, no, the guy didn't ask me one thing. He just told me if this was my updated address, to sign here, whatever, and that was it. Got his passport sealed. You're good to go. So the passport sealed for, I believe, a year is valid. Meanwhile, your green card comes in. So the moment he crossed over, the moment we stood at Starbucks, I paid the green card fee, the permanent resident card fee, and I said, okay, good to go. We're going home. We went home. That same day, we got home to our dog, and I was like, I am so glad to be home. You know, I'm so good to be home. That was on November 8th. We got home. On I want to say November 15th, he got his social security card. In his D260, he did say that he wanted a green card. So I mean a green card, a social security card. So they automatically send it to you. But not even a week later, he got his social security. In December, I would say mid-December, he got his actual permanent resident card. So when we got that, I was like, that's it. Like, you know, you're good. It was given for him for 10 years. I'm like, I can now breathe better. I could go on better. I don't have to worry about you being detained or taken away or deported, you know. Thank God, you know, our process is done and completed with. I just want to say that, again, no case is the same. No two cases are alike. Just follow your heart, go prepared, go with every single paperwork you think you need to go with, and just pray and do not lose your faith. I think what got me through was not losing my faith. I prayed every single night. I still pray every single night, and I thank God that you know, even though it was a 3-month separation for us, for him to be over there and me over here, it was a big learning lesson, obviously, and it was hard on us, but at the same time it made us grow closer, and I just thank God that, you know, he got approved. Not everyone is fortunate enough to get approved, but I just say don't give up. Don't not give up. And I just really wish every single one of you guys have a great outcome to your process. Mind you, our process took us 5 years, almost just about 5 years. We started 2015, January 2015, and we basically case closed, permanent card in hand in December 2019, which is shy of 5 years. We actually tried 3 times before actually getting approved for our cita. We got denied twice prior to that because of information that was not correctly given. You know, there was missing evidence that they required that we didn't get. So we tried 3 times. 5 years, 3 times we tried. God is good. Prayers didn't let us down. And again, if you guys get denied once, I say keep trying, you know, keep trying. And hopefully in the next year or years, a new immigration law will come out where everything is a lot easier for people to do this, because it is very, very hard. I am blessed that it's just me and my husband, because if had it been where I hear people are separated from their kids, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it. I think I would have lost it a long time ago. But fortunate for us, it was only my husband and I and our dog, and you know, we were able to do a lot of things that a lot of people cannot do with kids. So I want to obviously give a prayer out there for everyone who is currently separated from their loved ones. You know, their fathers who are separated from their kids and mothers who are separated from their kids. I just want to say a big prayer to you guys, and I really hope that everything comes true for you guys. I want to thank everyone on these pages who helped us, advice and stories, and we were able to pick up a little bit of everybody. And you know, again, thank you guys. And if you guys ever need any help or whatever, I'm not the best person to go to, but I can give you a little bit more details about my case. So I just want to say thank you guys, and I hope that 2020 brings you guys all love, happiness, and joy. And if you guys are separated, I hope that brings reunions for everybody. A lot of approvals, a lot of green little letters, a lot of green cards, and just pray. Thank you guys.